Yes, sir. Sir, Toastmaster Tripti and Toastmaster Devansh will be joining us in a while. We can start.
Good evening, folks. I think we can get going.
Yes, Toastmaster, for sure.
All right. So, Sergeant at Arms, stage is all yours.
Yeah, sure. Shall I? Is there any recording?
It's been started. You can proceed.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Hi, hello, everyone, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, and our beloved guest. Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Please switch on your cameras if possible. I welcome you all to this joint meeting of the Young Professional Toastmasters Club and NVezion Toastmasters Club. I am Toastmaster Prem Kumar, the Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. I would like to begin by stating the mission of a Toastmasters Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Every Toastmaster meeting is bound within certain rules, which we all need to follow. The one, we do not talk about gender, politics, and religion in a derogatory manner. Do not write anything inappropriate in the chat box. Please sit in the upright position when you are speaking. Please put your noise-making devices away or on silent mode. Do not unmute when someone else is speaking. Please laud everyone by giving your valuable appreciation in the chat box. Please switch on your cameras if possible. Take prior permission from the presiding officer of the day or president if you have to speak anything in between the meeting. With this, I would like to call upon the presiding officer of the day. And it is my pleasure to bring a spotlight to this gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome our presiding officer of the day is none other than Toastmaster PK Ray on this virtual podium. Toastmaster PK Ray, this virtual podium is yours. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Prem Kumar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this joint meeting. I am number 7894399 Toastmaster PK Ray. We guys in the army, we have got used to introducing ourselves like this, right? So that's my Toastmasters number. Now, when you have a joint meeting, the expectation is always to up the ante. We want to have better speeches, better evaluations, and scintillating table topic sessions. And of course, riveting entertainment all the time through. So we have 2 hours of splendid entertainment as I see it today. Also, when 2 Toastmasters clubs come together, it is a blending of the culture of 2 different clubs. And it is a exercise in diversity. And I think we should all sit down and enjoy this diversity. Both clubs, I'm sure, will have two different ways of doing things. I'm just waiting to see what happens. As far as the theme of today's meeting is concerned, my tryst with Netaji goes back, I will say, 30 years. You see, Netaji's house is there in my neighborhood in Kolkata. And every time I go for a walk, it is past Netaji's house. Every day at night, I walk past his house. And I can tell you from experience that today the house would have been painted and somebody would have scrubbed the nameplate clean. And there would be some new photographs outside. Anybody who's been to Kolkata and been to Forum Mall will know the house because the house is directly opposite Forum Mall. In fact, the metro station near my house is called Netaji Bhavan. Now, I admire Netaji for lots of things, but today I will leave this discourse on Netaji to the TMOD for today, the Toastmaster of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy. I believe he's a BTech graduate from IEM. All right. So he's a BTech graduate in IT from IEM and he's also an area director. And if the internet serves me right, then he got his DTM title within just 1.5 years. So over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Reddy. Stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster PK. Can we have a huge round of applause for our presiding officer who has set the tone so right for our session. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the joint session of Young Professional Toastmasters Club and NVezion Toastmasters Club. I am Rohit Reddy, the Toastmaster of the day for today's session. So the theme which I have decided is right for the day, as it is Netaji's birthday, and the theme which we have decided for today's session is Bose, the Lion of the Land. Before I share many stories and experiences about Netaji and how we should all be inspired from this great man, let me share what happens in a Toastmaster session. Today, I would be sharing multiple stories with you all, but let me tell you what happens in our meeting in a Toastmaster session. Number one, we have prepared speech section where our speakers are all ready to conquer the podium and come and give their amazing speeches, which they have all prepared by putting in so much of hard work. And number two is the table topic section where you're given a topic and you have to speak on it impromptu for 1 to 2 minutes. Don't worry, they're not that tough. They can be tackled easily. And number three is the evaluation section. Now, they say that the best way to look at the future is to just see what happened in the past. So evaluation is nothing but an analysis of how you did well and where you can improve upon, because hey, you came here to learn, right? So it's not all about praises. You need to take some points of improvement so that you can be a better version of yourself in the next session. So now, as I go ahead with the session, let me first introduce the general evaluator for today's session. The general evaluator for today's session is Toastmaster PK. As he handed me over the podium, now I hand it back to him so that he can introduce his team of role players. Over to you, Toastmaster PK.
Right. Now my turn in this game of ping pong of handing over and handing back. All right, so today I am the general evaluator. The task of the general evaluator, as you all know, is to evaluate this Toastmasters meeting from end to end, which means my evaluation has already started. And today I have a huge crew of 5 people to help me do this onerous task. And we will start by introducing to you, let me start by introducing to you a lady who's a former colleague of mine from ITC Hotel. She's very focused, very intense, very well spoken, a superb speaker. And she has a delightful turn of phrase whenever she speaks. I have lost count of the number of awards she's got. She's bagged a full retinue of awards whenever I see Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp. It's an award for her. She is educated at Wilhelms and IHM Mumbai, and she's a creative art therapist and counselor and associated with everything, Siliguri Queens, Smedler Speakers Society, and of course the Division newsletter. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our timer for today, Toastmaster Sagri Gupta. Sagri, stage is all yours.
Colonel Ray, I am floored. I've actually forgotten my script for the first 10 seconds as to what I'm supposed to say. A very good evening to everyone, Toastmaster of the Day, General Evaluator, colleagues, everyone. I will be the timer for today's session. I will assist in maintaining the given schedule. I shall be flashing 3 color cards. I will just share them with you. That would be the screen for all the time for the timing today. For prepared speeches, we have 2 speakers and all of them are timed at 5 to 7 minutes. So you would be getting a green light at your 5 minutes, yellow, and then it goes on to red for your 7 minutes. Evaluators, you get 2 to 3 minutes. The same lights would be flashed for you as well. And for table topics, it's 1 to 2 minutes. The goal is to speak till at least the green light and try wrapping up till red light because you get only an additional of 30 seconds post your red light. I shall give my report when called upon by the General Evaluator. Back to you, Toastmaster Ray.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sagri. And now, next we have the Division Director of Division T, who also, I should say, he loves traveling, interacting, and creating memories. Please welcome the our counter for today, Toastmaster Devon Srivasta.
Thank you, Toastmaster PK. Forgive me, I won't be able to open my camera for this moment. I'll be able to do that in few minutes. But I'm here to give you the introduction for the counter role here today. So, I have read recently, words are something that shapes or defines the human character. And in that aspect, I will be taking notes of fillers of the speakers so that we all are able to express our message as clearly as possible. Now, what are fillers, you may ask? In our speeches, knowingly or unknowingly, we tend to fill in the gaps using words such as like, so, right, etc. Now, as a human, it's rational to have these filler in our speeches once or twice, but the problem occurs when we tend to overuse the fillers. That diverts the listener from the message of the speech, and it might even create the doubt of the credibility of the speaker in the listener's head. So in order to avoid that, we have to practice speaking less of fillers. And today I'll help you in doing that. I'll take a note of all the filler words that you will be speaking or using in your speeches, and will give my report towards the end of the speech. Over to you, Toastmaster PK.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Devansh. And now, our next member of my team is the grammarian, Toastmaster Pratyush Sinha. Over to you, Toastmaster Pratyush.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. My fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, as the grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of the improper language that has been used, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And the word of the day is contention. The meaning is a heated disagreement. An example of its usage in a sentence would be: the captured territory was the main area of contention between the two countries. I'll put this down in the chat, for your reference, and everyone is encouraged to use the word of the day as many times as possible. And I will present my report at the end during the evaluation round. Back to you, Toastmaster Ray.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pratyush. And now we have a lady who is a literature graduate, a writer, a public speaker, believes in being the change we want to witness in the world. She is the VP membership of NVezion Toastmasters Club, enthusiastic about traveling, poems, and coffee. She is also the founder and CEO of TBLS Education Federation and has been mentoring 500 plus students pan India about their careers and career choices. And recently, she has been awarded the best startup in education for 2021 by Business Mint, and she's on the list of 50 super startups in Asia, Africa, and Europe by Business Next. Please welcome the active listener for today, Toastmaster Tripti Gandhi.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Toastmaster Ray. You have already given such a long introduction and already set the standard high for me. Anyways, being a good listener is just as important as being a good speaker. As the listener, I will note all the interesting tidbits of information from any of the speakers and ask questions near the end of the meeting to see if anyone was paying attention or not. So everyone has to buck up and listen very carefully to our honorable speakers for the day. Thank you so much. Back to you, Toastmaster Ray.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tripti. I am sure your list of questions is not going to get contentious, if I may say so. And next we have the real boss of NVezion Toastmasters Club. He is the immediate past president and the current VPPR of the club. He is the founder and CEO of NVezion.com, a digital transformation expert with over 15 years in the business, helping people achieve their digitization goals. His passion and entrepreneurship skills have given him the motive to organize NVezion Toastmasters Club under Toastmasters International and connect with like-minded people to talk about business, technology, and supporting startups. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Table Topics Evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Syed Faisal Zaidi.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. You are the current boss of NVezion. I am immediate past president. Thank you for honoring. And it is my pleasure to be Table Topics Evaluator today. As you all know, in the middle of the meeting, we will have one segment called Table Topics, where the speakers will be given with impromptu topics and they will speak on that topic. My role is to evaluate those speakers and give my feedback when called upon by the General Evaluator. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Faisal. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back towards the end with the evaluation section. And for now, back to you, TMOD, Distinguished Toastmaster Rohit.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Can we have a huge round of applause for our General Evaluator and his team for introducing their roles in such an energetic and enthusiastic fashion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed on to the prepared speech section, I'll be sharing with you a story about Netaji. But before that, I need some response in the chat box. What is that one word that comes to your mind when I say the word Netaji? It can be anything, bravery or inspiration or anything. Brave, Gayatri has wrote already. Keep it coming. Freedom fighter, those are two words. And bold, respect. Yeah, so all in all, lion. So all in all, we can agree that he was a person beyond excellence. He was a person, he was a persona in himself. He did things which were so unique and brave at that point of time. So my first story comes from this very fact that between the periods of 1921 to 1941, he was not jailed once or twice or thrice, but 11 times. And he didn't let those incidents break his spirit or break his bigger motive, that is achieving independence for India. And let me also tell you that when he was in jail, he also assumed the post of mayor for Calcutta in 1930 and did his work from the prison itself. So when he can be so brave and so focused towards his goal, let us all keep in this word as well in our minds, that is focused towards any goal that we have. That's one thing we should all learn from Netaji. Now, let me proceed on to the first section of our Toastmasters meeting, that is the prepared speech section. Can I have the first speech evaluator, that is Toastmaster Ashil, if I'm not wrong, to introduce the speech objectives of Toastmaster Pooja?
Thank you. It's SC. There's no sh. It's
But
no. Yeah, but don't worry. I make that mistake all the time with many names.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hi, Toastmaster Asil. I will be evaluating my target speaker, Toastmaster Pooja. Now, I'm the one who's asking if I pronounce the name right. Okay. The purpose of the project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present well-organized speech on any topic. Timer, please note the speaker has 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster.
Okay.
Were you saying something?
I'm just gonna say the title of the speech, My Experiments with Manufacturing Serendipity. My Experiments with Manufacturing Serendipity. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster, for introducing the speech objectives. So with a huge round of applause, please welcome the first speaker for today's session, Toastmaster Pooja. My Experiments with Manufacturing Serendipity. My Experiments with Manufacturing Serendipity. Toastmaster Pooja, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Listen carefully. Observe. I have a task for you. I want you to observe what is common between these three scenarios. How would you feel if you unexpectedly find a 2,000 rupees note in your pocket? Or you're walking down the road and randomly find your old friend? Or imagine you get a table topic on something that you were thinking just before the meeting and you give an excellent speech. What is common between all these three things? The one thing common is unexpected good surprises. Unexpectedly getting a 2,000 rupee note, randomly meeting your friend, doing an excellent table topic. There is a word in English language for this, that is serendipity. Unexpected good surprises, serendipity. Now let's add manufacturing to it. So when I add manufacturing to serendipity, it makes creating good chances. Do you think there's anything odd here? Creating and chances? It's an oxymoron. Manufacturing serendipity is an oxymoron. Do you believe in it? When first time I heard this concept, I was all in for this. Serendipity, the good feeling, the unexpected surprise you get. I love surprises. I wanted more of surprises. So I was all in for this concept. I thought, yes, I can manufacture serendipity. I thought I would create a system to give myself a lot of good surprises. So the planner Pooja and me took out the pen and paper and started writing what should I do so that it increased the probability of good thing that happens in my life. After a lot of thinking and deliberation, I came up with the idea. I started writing mails to future self. I used to schedule emails to me for every event, for my birthdays, for any event like today, before the speech. And then I forget about it. Fast forward 3 months. First time when I received my first scheduled email, I jumped with joy. I was really happy because I had written something for myself, and these were the exact words I wanted to hear. And then I thought, I might have found a way to surprise myself and make myself happy. And what do you do when your experiment succeeds and you're really happy? I tell my friends. So I called my best friend and immediately told him about this new concept of manufacturing serendipity I had encountered and how I had achieved it. And to my surprise, I told him exactly everything. And to my surprise, this is what he said. The person who lives on a schedule, now even schedules are happiness, puja and unexpected, isn't that oxymoron? My heart sank. And then he said, how do you think you will create unexpected chances if you always do the expected things? I'll reiterate. Audience, how do you think you will create unexpected chances if you always do the expected things? So imagine, how would you get 2,000 rupees wrote in your pocket even if you don't check your pocket? Check, you might have it. How would you meet your old friend on a road if you don't go out of the house? How do you think you will get a good topic in table topic session even if you don't participate in table topic session? So I realized to increase my chances of encountering something unexpectedly delightful, I had to say yes to more things. Since no immediately closes the door, but yes, it creates possibilities. So from then I started saying yes to more things. And I even got before 3 months ago, I didn't know about Toastmasters at all. It was a lazy Saturday evening, and the same friend told me, come join the meeting and be a grammarian. It was after a long week of work, nobody wants to go and join a meeting, and that to take some responsibility and be a grammarian. But I remembered this concept that I had decided to say yes to more things in my life. So I took it. And that was the day that changed everything. From then on, Toastmaster, I was introduced to a new community I didn't know ever existed, and which created a lot of possibilities for me personally. So sometimes I wonder whether we need to be more proactive in manufacturing serendipity, or it's just an oxymoron. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pooja. Can we have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Pooja for delivering that amazing speech? Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to proceed to our second speaker. Can I have Toastmaster Mohit, who is the second speech evaluator, to introduce the speech objectives of Toastmaster Arena?
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit. And I would not be able to switch on the camera as of now, but I would definitely at the time of evaluation. So today the speaker is attempting level 1 project 2, which is evaluation and feedback. And the objective of this speech is for the speaker to deliver a speech, receive feedback, and imply that feedback in the second speech. And this is the speaker's second speech, and I have duly received the evaluation from her first attempt at this project. And I do be ensuring that she complies to those evaluations and imbibes them in her current speech. And with the timer, please note that timing is 5 to 7 minutes. And all the best to the speaker. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit, for introducing the speech objectives. Our second speaker is Toastmaster Reena. An insight into feminism. An insight into feminism. Toastmaster Reena, over to you.
I would like to start my articulation with a very beautiful poem written by an unknown charwoman in 1905, where she cites an extreme fatigue as a reason to end it all. So here we go. Here lies a poor woman who was always tired. She lived in a house where help wasn't hired. Her last words on earth were, "Dear friends, I'm going to a world where there is no washing, cooking, or sewing. A world where there is everything exact to my wishes and there is no washing of dishes. I will be where loud anthems will always be ringing, but having no voice, I will be quite off the singing. Don't mourn for me now. Don't mourn for me never. I will be doing nothing forever and ever. Well, Francis Wright rightly said that equality is the soul of liberty. In fact, there is no liberty without it. From the term equality, I just realized that do we even know what is feminism? Let me elaborate on it. Feminism is a conviction in social, political, and economical egalitarianism of the sexes, which aims at building the sense of equality and impartiality among males and females. From here, we can conclude that feminism is a very liberating idea. It deals with the equality of rights and entitlement, as well as with the equality of gender roles inside and outside our houses. Well, I was listening to a TED talk by Medha Kotwal on a similar topic, and I could find her saying a very celebrated quote given by a very wise and intellectual feminist that one is not born a woman, rather becomes the one. Trust me, I was completely perplexed after hearing this because I could not comprehend with the same. And this made me intrigued about her next statements, and I kept on listening. This was the time where she rightly and logically interpreted the quote by saying that man and women are born equal. It is society which makes us unequal. We are born with different biologies, but that only makes us male or female. Rather, it is the process of socialization which makes us man or woman. So the question of concern is that why biological difference should decide our social status? I appeal all the participants of the meeting to think about the questions which I am going to ask you next. Have you ever felt that even in the era of technology and social media, there still exist people who do not know the term feminism? And then comes the people who know it but do not understand it well. And then comes the people who know as well as understand it, but they are completely ignorant. Proceeding with the same question, if these people do not know or understand the term feminism, then they must be completely unmindful and unacquainted about the idea of equality. From here, we start making conclusions. For us, these observations directly indicate towards the interpretation that these people must be the believers of idea of discrimination on the basis of gender. You all might be astonished after hearing this, something which I have perceived over the time that for these people, feminism and discrimination both are peculiar, puzzling, and unfamiliar. They neither understand feminism nor discrimination because they have attached the different roles which separate genders so strongly that it is very common and compulsory for them to act in a particular way according to your gender. They do not detect or discover anything wrong or anything right in discrimination and feminism respectively. Well, I deeply, thoroughly, and completely resonate with the topic because I am the girl of rural India. I myself came to know about feminism after I joined the gender sensitization committee of my college. And believe me, this was the time where I realized that the biggest feminist I know is my mother. I started recalling all those incidents where she played the role of a great feminist. Even though she haven't completed her basic education yet, but she always managed to fight and speak up. She fought with the whole family for my education. She fought with the whole society when I was questioned to wear cut sleeves or jeans here. She boldly answered all the relatives who asked her that her daughter should be little more engaged in the household works only. I was failed, bullied, discriminated, judged, measured less, but she was always there to strengthen me. So I believe that there are three types of women: the struggling woman, the privileged woman, and the ignorant woman. Although today's woman is becoming a highly self-directed person, alive to the sense of her dignity and importance of her functions in public domains and private domains of world of work. She is becoming rational in approach, careful in handling situations, and want to do things as best as possible. But woefully, this is still the restricted truth for urban areas only. Because according to National Commission for Women, women are still considered as the group of largest backward citizens in India. They are still bound in sex-specific stereotypes which markedly portray that feminism is the reality for few and dream for many. They are still seen as lesser beings meant either to be arm candies or trophies to be flaunted and possessed. So, in order to make feminism a reality, the feminine virtues should be expended from tenderness, kindness, nurturing, caring, sacrificing, to a self and fierce desire of to be oneself, to come out of these socially determined role expectations and to become empowered. I believe that education system is the only institution which can counteract the deep foundations of inequality. So be educated, be empowered, and be equal. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Reena. Can we have a huge round of applause for that wonderful speech? Thank you so much for delivering it. The topic was so relevant to today's society. Now, can I have the timer to confirm whether both the speakers were within the time limit? You're on mute.
I am unmuting myself, sorry. Yes, both of them are within the time limit. Toastmaster Pooja took 5 minutes, 23 seconds, and Toastmaster Reena took 7 minutes, 7 seconds.
Thank you so much. So Techmaster, we got the polls for the best speaker. In the meanwhile, as we vote, I would now like to share another story about how inspiring Netaji was. Now, I did see in the chat box, there was one person who commented bold and respect. Now, I have a story which we can relate to, we can term these words to him by listening to this. He cleared the Indian Civil Service examinations. At that time, he did not want to take it up, but ended up taking it up. But then he ultimately left it because it didn't align with his nationalistic ideologies. That is, ladies and gentlemen, you might know how coveted that Indian Civil Service examination was at that time, because it was a post, indeed, you directly used to work with the government. But just because of his ideology, he didn't bow down, and he made sure that he didn't work, and he ultimately resigned in 1921. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen, to be who you are truly, to not let greed or any other thing take over your judgment. Standing truly with your cause is something we should all learn from Netaji. I think all of us have voted. Techmaster, can you please confirm?
Yes, I have the majority.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Techmaster. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's enough of preparation. As you know, life is not prepared at all. We are faced with difficulties and hurdles at each and every moment, just like Netaji did all during his life. Now, let me introduce you to someone who is going to put us in a difficult spot, not so difficult, but is going to get us out of our comfort zone and make sure we be our best version the next time we attempt an impromptu speech. Please welcome the table topic master of today's session, Toastmaster Gayatri. Toastmaster Gayatri, over to you.
Member number 78193225 reporting for duty, sir. Members, you have now entered the table topics segment. Everything you know about speeches as learned in the prepared speech segment. Forget it. You will not get 1 week to prepare, or you won't get time to consult with your mentor either. Everything you were told about evaluations. Forget it. You will not get time to prepare at all. You are now on the front line. You have to tackle the enemy, and the enemy is not going to wait for you to consult with your mentor or for you to prepare. You will get 1 to 2 minutes to tackle the enemy. You have to engage with your enemy for at least 1 minute. However, you will have only 2 minutes to finish that fight. 30 seconds grace on the upper side. Anything beyond that will lead to disqualification. In this scenario, your enemy is the topic given to you. Let's see whether you win against the topic or the topic wins against you. Who has the courage to step forward and tackle the first topic? Anupam. Okay. Anupam, the topic for you is, you have an opportunity to go back in history and participate in one freedom movement of Indian freedom struggle. Which movement would you choose? You have an opportunity to go back in history and participate in one freedom movement for Indian freedom struggle. Which movement do you choose? Anupam.
Hello, everyone. As we celebrate Subhash Chandra Bose birth anniversary today, who can be for me to particular had and not just it because it's 20 and we have all booklet. It was called
I believe there is some technical issue. Let us move on. And okay, she's back.
Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
So I think the seeds of freedom fighter in me had been in me from that moment only, because he's been the first freedom fighter with which I got introduced to. And if I have the opportunity, which I honestly every time believe that somewhere inside I had, and I had told this many number of times, I feel that I was born at that time. In those 1947, so many times I just feel that I have lived all through it. I don't know whether it is an impact of Bollywood or otherwise, but that happens to me always. And Captain Lakshmi, I'm sure all of you have heard of her in the Azad Hind Fauj, which she was leading the women's section of that army. I would like to be in shoes. I would like to walk that path again. If ever given a chance, I can go back to do. I would not like India bounded again, of course. But if ever get relive those moments, I walk that women.
Thank you so much, Anupam. Well tackled, Jawan. And now who is going to step forward for the next enemy? Who is going to tackle the next enemy? Anupam, you can lower your hand now.
Hello,
Rohit.
Audible?
Yes, can you lower your hand? Okay, thank you. Mohit.
Yes, thank you.
Netaji is listening to you right now. What do you want to say to him? Netaji is listening to you right now. You have 2 minutes. What do you want to say to him? Mohit.
So, where are you? There are archaeologists, there are individuals who have literally dedicated their complete life in order to decipher that are you alive, or like have you lost your life in a particular battle, or is it an air crash which you have which victim you have been? So they have been trying to decipher as to what is the cause of your disappearance, and you disappear in the thin air out of nowhere in the age of the turmoil, when the country was in a very, it was in a, is actually in sort of an anarchy. There was no leadership. You were the one who took the forefront, you took the leadership, and you had your own ideology, and you supported that with such a robust actions. I think that the world needs to know, where are you at this point of time? Are you still alive? Are you still among us? Or is it that you lost your life in the battle, or is it that you lost your life in playing in that thing? I do understand that certain things are better if kept mystery, because they, if they resurface, they might lead to different other interpretations, and given this sort of scrutiny we apply in the historical happenings or accounts of the past, we often see that people often blow it out of the proportion. But still, we do deserve to know that what has actually happened to you, what is that what you wanted for this country to happen, and the sort of situation our country is in at this point of time. Is it in accordance to what you have dreamed of for this country? It would be really great if you can actually tell us that who, like, where are you, or have you disguised yourself in some other form? Over to you, Gayatri.
Well done, Javan. Questions that all of us want to ask. Bismoy Das.
Yeah, hi.
No more comfort anymore. You have an option and you have to choose. You can become the Prime Minister of India, or you can become the President of India. And you have to make that decision in the next 2 minutes. What would you rather be? The Prime Minister of India or the President of India, and why?
Well, given a choice whether to become a Prime Minister of India or President of India, I will probably go for becoming a Prime Minister of India. Because India, as we know, is the largest democracy in the world. And in India, being the largest democracy in the world, Prime Minister holds the most pivotal position. And he is the one who holds the accountability of all the minister, and how the country journey is, and how the future of India will look like. So that is the reason why I want to hold the Prime Minister post of the India, and want to see India prosper and become a developed country in the future. So there are a lot of things that I can able to change in India if given a post of Prime Minister of India. Like probably I will try to elevate the poverty state in India, and try to make the country more prosperous and more richer. And then the other thing is making India hunger free. So there should not be anybody who's going in the night remaining hungry. So I want India where everybody have food in the plate and able to eat with their family, and have a having a good amount of food for them, so that they can able to work constructively. And the next thing that I would I want to change in India is that as a Prime Minister is that I will make sure that India is remain all the diseases and everything that is there in India can be removed, and India become a disease-free country where we don't have any problem in India where in terms of diseases, and we can prosper like how the developed country are prospering in terms of lack of diseases. So this is what my idea is about. Idea and vision is about India. And for that, it is important, if I take the Prime Minister post, that will the most important post, which I think can help me to change the India for the future. So that is my take, and over to you.
Well done, Javan. And now let's call on stage Tripti. I believe you don't have any role today. And you have been laughing at all the others. You have been laughing at all the others when they were attempting their topic. Here's the topic for you.
Just a lot of thoughts, instilled in the head.
Okay. No mercy. You are at United Nations. This is the year 1947. This is the year 1947. You are Indian ambassador to United Nations, and all the countries are forcing you to give up your stakes on states like Jammu and Kashmir, Hyderabad, Junagadh, and all of those. You have 2 minutes to defend your country's position in United Nations. Tripti.
Kashmir was with us, is with us, and will remain with us. That is like a statement given not only by an individual, but on the behalf of the entire country. Due to partition, we already lost a huge part of our nations, wherein different parts of the country, which were together, which were united, have gone to various different nations. Talking about Kashmir, Hyderabad, India is not India when it comes to leaving one of our integral aspects. Who will measure the length from Jammu and Kashmir till Kanyakumari? I cannot lose the head of my country or neither lose the toe of the nation. It is very important for us as a country that we stand united and take a stand towards what is happening in the world today. Apart from that, it's not about losing about the stage or losing on my culture. As a country, India has been bold. India is known for being the pioneer of the change the world wants to witness. We were amongst the first countries in the world who gave women empowerment by giving them the most leadership positions. And then, coming from such a country, I'm asked to leave or give away my stakes. That is simply not possible. I will rest my case here. Thank you.
Wow, you can really be the ambassador, so calm and composed on such a sensitive topic. I would probably be shouting at the highest pitch of my voice, and I already speak at high pitch. Asil. Yes.
I am currently practicing for my area content, so I suck. I give it a go.
You will give it a go. And here is topic for you. Would you like to adjust your camera better? Your face is not as properly visible. Okay, now we can see you. Good. Asil, you have opportunity to make one change in the Constitution of India. What will it be? You have an opportunity to make one change in the Constitution of India. What will it be, Asil?
Only in India? I want to make a concept of change all over the world because it happens in any country regardless. But if I have to choose, the thing I want to change is discrimination. It happens all the time based on color of the skin or whatever it is they are doing. Some people could actually get accused of anything just because they're at the club doing something. But they just take one look at that person, their judgment get the best of them. They think you're up to something. They say, my instinct tells me something's wrong with that person. No, you're judging based on what they look like. And I don't mean just the color of the skin. Maybe if they had something they have a skin condition like eczema, a skin condition, or they have a few moles on their skin, anything. People can make judgment just from one look, first impression, and looks can be deceiving. I will talk more on many things I want to make changes in India, but I have a short amount of time. So I'll just talk about one thing, and that is discrimination. This has got to stop, not just in India, in all countries. I don't see it much where I live in Middle East, but I know it happens all over the world. If I have the opportunity to change it, I'll give it a punch. I'll give discrimination a punch and get rid of it. So table topic, Master, if I could change something in India, it's discrimination. There are many things, but that's what I can talk about for now. Thank you for this lovely topic.
Well done, Jawan. There is one Jawan among us who has his camera off. Abhishek. Abhishek Chandak, would you like to take a topic? Okay.
Can I try?
Okay, so let's go with Arnav and then we will go to Abhishek. Okay, Abhishek, stay right there. I'm evaluating your face. Depending on that, I'm going to give you the topic. So have innocent expressions on your face. Okay, Arnav. Well, that you have volunteered, so I'm not obligated to give you an easy topic. So here is the topic for you. You are in 1930s. And you are an advisor to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And he has to make a decision whether to stay in Congress or whether to not stay in Congress. You have 2 minutes to help him make the decision. What and how would you advise him? Think very carefully. Entire country's future is dependent on what you advise to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Congress is a mess, and you have to advise him on the next course of action. Advisor to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Arnav.
Well, I'm not starting right now. I'm not aware of the context of history that
That's okay. Just imagine that you are an advisor to a big political leader who has to make a decision for the country's benefit, whether to stay in the party or start his own party. What will you advise?
Okay. So to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, I would tell him to follow his heart and really reflect on what he sees to be the future of the country and what he really wants to be the future for all the citizens. And I would ask him to see what would be the worst case scenarios that could possibly pan out if he chooses to form his own party, or and who are the other leaders in Congress who would get a chance to express themselves if he leaves or he does not leave. Like, what is his equation with him? I would want him to consider all possible repercussions, and I would not want him to blindly follow his emotions, but I would like him to reflect on first reflect on what would be the repercussions, and only then take the emotional choice. And yes, so some reflection would be, I would help him reflect on, I would make him make notes. I would ask him to consult as many people as he can. And yeah, that's what I would do. I wouldn't give any prescriptive judgment on you should do this, but I would like him to make an informed decision. Yep.
Straight out of the mentoring resource. Don't tell your mentee what to do. Help your mentee arrive at the decision. Do not decide for your mentee. Good job, Arnav. You can now lower your hand. So Abhishek, this is the last topic and you are the last man on the front line. Are you going to win this battle or are you going to lose this battle? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. This is 1923.
Okay.
And you have to write a speech. You are the speech writer for Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And you have to write a speech condemning the hanging of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose has to deliver this speech, and you are the writer of that speech. So you have to write a speech for Subhash Chandra Bose. How would Subhash Chandra Bose condemn the British for the hanging of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev?
Can you please tell the meaning of word condemn?
Condemn meaning like, criticize them.
I need to criticize the British.
Yeah, for making the decision of hanging Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru. They were freedom fighters,
Yeah.
and British hanged them. So Subhash Chandra Bose has to address a crowd, and you have to write a speech for him. How will Subhash Chandra Bose criticize the British for their actions, and what would you ask your countrymen to do against this action by British?
Okay. So I would say that this was all the freedom fighters who were who were hung by the British were trying to do something for the country, and just so we should see what so we should have take a clear so we should take a clear view on what needs to be done. I would not advise anyone uh, to make to revolt against this decision or something like this, but uh, I would I would also uh, I would also like to, sorry, I can't make it right now.
Okay, would you like to take some other topic? Let's go for some other topic. Tell us about your favorite freedom fighter and why.
Favorite freedom fighter, Gandhiji. Yeah,
The way you started writing the speech, we knew that you were a forgiving person. Tell us about Gandhiji. Why do you like Gandhiji as a freedom fighter?
He was the main. He played a main role to help to save the country from the British. There were many movements that were led by him to save the country, like Dandi March, and some some movement relating to salt.
Salt Satyagraha.
Yeah, salt Satyagraha movement, and yeah, he also promoted. He also promoted non-violence, and also encouraged all the members of the country to use home country goods and do not depend on goods from another country. So yeah, I can think right now this much only. Sorry.
No, sorry, not at all. You have to say sorry to all those people who are fans of Subhash Chandra Bose surrounding you. You're right now surrounded by the enemies from all the sides, Abhishek, but good decision. And honestly, I really believe that you like Gandhiji because his thoughts reflected in the speech that you were writing for Netaji. Only problem, Netaji's thoughts and Gandhiji's thoughts were not exactly aligned. However, thank you so much, everybody, for battling this out. And I declare that the speakers won against the topics. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gayatri, for that table topic session or the mini history class that you took for every one of us so that we can revise on our dates and facts when we go back and give a history examination again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I hand it over to the general evaluator, let me share with you all one final story. We live in a period of uncertainty. We live in a period where we don't know what's going to happen the next moment. Adaptability is a key factor that has become is a key factor that we all need to master these days. And Netaji, and as I'm going to share a story about him, Netaji did master adaptability. When he tried to escape to Moscow and he had to cross multiple countries, he's disguised as the locals with utmost perfection. Not even once he was interrogated for being suspicious or for being a foreign entity. He was so natural in disguising as them. So he adapted to each and every culture really well. It was his confidence that let him go till the destination. As I hand it over to the general evaluator, I know we're all facing difficult situations, but let's remember what Netaji said, that life loses half its interest if there's no struggle and there are no risks taken. So let me welcome the general evaluator who is going to share with us how well we were in being prepared or how well we tackled risks. And before that, let me ask the timer how the table topic speakers did in terms of timings.
allow me to just share my report. We all qualified. Toastmaster Anupam took 2 minutes 28 seconds. Toastmaster Mohit, 1 minute 47 seconds. Toastmaster Bismoy, 2 minutes 16 seconds. Toastmaster Tripti, 1 minute 39 seconds. Toastmaster Asil, 1 minute 55 seconds. Toastmaster Arna, 1 minute 40 seconds. And kudos to you, Abhishek, you took a minute exact. That was a report for the table topic speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would request the tech master to launch the polls for the best table topic speaker. And as a report, I'm going to hand it over to the general evaluator, repeating the fact that life loses half its interest when there are no risks taken and there's no struggle. So let us welcome the person who is going to share with us how well we prepared to tackle risks or how well we improved as a better version of ourselves. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit. Reflecting on what you said, sometimes I keep thinking, is this an assessment of how well you have done? Or is this an assessment of how well I am perceiving things? I personally think it is an assessment of myself, which I am giving to you at this time. And while people are still voting, let me tell you my favorite story of Netaji Bose. You know this, he went to Russia, and when he went to Russia, he found that Stalin is a great friend of Hitler at that time. So what he did was that Stalin said, you go and meet Hitler. So Netaji went to Germany. There in Germany, he met the foreign minister, von Ribbentrop. And Ribbentrop decided that ultimately he needs to meet Hitler because Netaji's purpose was already there to create something like the INA. So he asked Ribbentrop to give him the prisoners of war, the Indian prisoners of war, to create this force. But the Germans actually had no respect for Netaji. And Netaji sensed that. And he himself lost respect for the Germans when Hitler did a volte-face and went and attacked Russia. He managed to convince Hitler to give him a ride to Japan. And can you believe it? He rode in a submarine halfway across the world to Japan to raise the INA out there. I wonder if any of you have been inside a submarine. I have been there for 1 hour, and that's all I'm interested in. I'm never going back there again. It's a tin can which keeps hitting you like this as it moves. And he rode from Germany to Japan to raise the Indian National Army. That is Netaji Subhash Bose for you. All right, now, Tech Master, I guess we can go ahead. All right, thank you. Fine, so let me now call upon the first evaluator for today, Toastmaster Asil Saeed, to evaluate her speaker. Toastmaster Asil, stage is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster PK. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to evaluate my target speaker, Toastmaster Pia, who talked about her experience and tried to deliver her purpose in a creative way. Now, what makes a person wise? Because they lived through it themselves. I saw wisdom in her words. Might be too much, but that's how I feel towards her, because she experienced a few things herself. She knew that she needed to deliver this purpose so we can learn from it. To become a wise person, you have to be a student yourself. When I read the speech title, I did not understand it much. That is until I heard her speech. Because the title was a bit, it might be new to some of you, like me. You might be interested. Let me learn more about it. What a way to attract the other's attention. Maybe it won't attract attention, but it attracted me and some of us. We wanted to know, I wonder what this speech is all about. I've never heard this word before. What a way to talk about personal experience, just like I said before. Because she mentioned a few experience, we started to see it in a different light. We understand that if she experienced it herself, she must be right. Fast forward, she mentioned fast forward. Are you trying to get us in a time machine? Trying to take us to the future? What a way in the beginning of the speech, she said, imagine, using our imagination. This is what we do when we listen to a story or to a speech, using our imagination. Now, I do have a little area of improvement. You did a really good job, but it would have been more effective if you had divided your speech. For example, you could have talked about table topic in this position, or you could talk about the fast forward part in this position. What I'm trying to say here is, if you worked more on your stage movement, they would see that it's divided into each category, would be more organized. Now your speech is organized, but with movement, it would be super effective. All in all, you did a very good job delivering your speech, and thank you for sharing your experience and giving us this amazing purpose, teaching us a very valuable lesson. We'll be looking forward to your next speech, and I'm sure it'll be more better than you did today. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Seal. Now, this is not an evaluation of your evaluation, but just a small tip. Go and search for a wonderful movie by John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale called Serendipity. That movie will tell you everything there is to know about serendipity. Okay, now may I call about the next evaluator for today, Toastmaster Mohit, to please evaluate his speaker, Toastmaster Reena.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. So Toastmaster Reena, you've introduced us to a concept which is yet something which is in a very sensitive territory, and it is often something which is misinterpreted. And I really like the way you started this speech, the hypothetical situation, hypothetical women which you created, the sort of women who is bounded by the ordeals of the world, her plight, you made her plight so easy to identify her plight. And then you also showed the sort of consequence she met. So all this was very beautifully done, and it was very lyrical, in a very lyrical way. And secondly, I really like the way you gave a very generic interpretation of this topic. Then you also posed a question to the audience, and then you presented a particular fact which showed that 75, if I'm not wrong, 70 to 75% within that bracket of individuals are oblivious of, just a minute, let me turn it to gallery. Yeah. So are oblivious of the fact that what discrimination is and what feminism is. So that was really well done. And third is that the person that you gave through your mom's example, and there was an emotional connect which I felt, the way you spoke, and one after the other, the instances which you gave, that was also done in a very comfortable fashion. So now one began to think that what is there that could be improved in this speech. Well, the first of all, I would like to say that you did have stood out and ensured that you imbibe each and every recommendation which your former evaluator gave you, and you made it a point to imbibe all those evaluations which your former evaluations gave you. And then there was definitely the synchrony between the way your non-verbal gestures and your speech. So all that was done in a very commendable way. And I think that adding to the recommendations she has given, you have definitely worked upon them. But there's one more recommendation which I would like to give you from mine, and that is that your topic, you articulated the topic in a very good way. You set the backdrop for the speech, and then you also gave an instance of a mother which made it very easy for us to relate to. But then there was a need for call to action. The audience should have felt pepped up that there is something which could be done in a very grassroots level in order to eradicate the problem, or in order to even, transition the mindset of the people from the past, the sort of the wrong interpretation of feminism to the actual one. So I think that was something which was necessary, and you did definitely touch upon that territory through educating the individuals, and that was also done. But I think that you could have put in more emphasis on that, because it is something which came up in the very late part of your speech. I believe that you were about to summarize at that point it came in, so you could have definitely spoken on that. But in all, it was a wonderful speech, and I do think that you would definitely be a very good speaker, and all the best for your future speeches. Over to you, G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Moedul. Big round of applause for our 2 evaluators today, please. And timer, could you please tell us the evaluators both within time?
Toastmaster Ray, I believe we have another evaluator. We have the table topics evaluator as well, who has to give the evaluations. So would you like me to give the report after that, or shall I share it separately?
No. Okay, we will ask the table topics evaluator to come on right now. Okay. Okay, table topics evaluator, Toastmaster Faisal. Can we have you on stage, please?
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. A very good evening to you all again. Wow, what a moment we have lived today in these table topics. We went back to those freedom fighting days. Toastmaster Anupam, as we all know that you are an eloquent speaker, a good orator. You have very well articulated story, and you have taken us back to those days. And you have talked about one lady freedom fighter. It would be better if you could have little bit elaborate about her, what was her vision, and how you were inspired with her. That could have given us more insightful understanding of that moment. Very well done. Kudos to you. Thank you for participating in table topics. Toastmaster Mohit, Netaji is listening to you. Wow, what a great topic. Mohit, you have taken us to that moment that really you were speaking to Netaji. You were complaining like a baby that wish you could have been there and you could talk to Netaji, something like that. Very well done. You have tried very well. If you can bring more voice modulation and some what they call it, like equalizer in the tone that you were complaining like a kid or something, it could have given us more impact in your speech. Toastmaster Bismoy Das, your decision of becoming Prime Minister of India or President of India, you have chosen the great opportunity becoming of Prime Minister of India, and kudos to you that you have given us a very good vision that you need to change this and that. You have given so many plans. Your vision was great. If you could have talk like a PM, your voice, your emphasizing on that plan that I wish to do that, something like that, and withdraw kind of things that we could have been connected to that story. Thank you so much for participating. Toastmaster Tripti, as we all know that you are a very good orator, you are a very nice storyteller. You have taken us to the 1947 and defended your country in the country's position in UN. But if being emotional in the international authorities, if you are taking some logical thing to talk to UN, that you are having some logical facts and figures that you are talking to the UN that we should have Kashmir on these basis, not because of your emotion basis. Thank you so much for participating. Very well tried. I was not aware that table topics evaluator being evaluated in 2 to 3 minutes. So it is like surprise for me, but I will take little extra time. Don't worry. Toastmaster Asil, changing in the constitution, what a great effort. You have taken that topic very cleverly. Though you are not from India, you have taken that topic very cleverly. You have chosen that discrimination. This is the hot irony that all around the globe we are facing discrimination issues. Thank you so much. You have taken, you have tried very well done on this. Toastmaster Arnav, in 1930, you are an advisor to Netaji. Wow. You are an advisor to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and you are going to give him some advice. Your advice was very intelligent. You have given some good diplomatic advices to them. I'm sure if Netaji would have taken you as your advisor, you have helped him very good. Thank you so much. Toastmaster Abhishek, what a great opportunity. Imagine you could have written that slogan, you give me blood and I will give you the freedom of India. But you could have talked more. You have 1 to 2 minutes. Give wings to your imagination, go and talk more. Create any imaginary story that you have created this for against those Britishers, to condemn them and their policies. Thank you so much for trying your best in this table topics. That's all from my side. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Faisal. And never mind the timing, but your evaluation was superb. I enjoyed that. Okay, so now I would request the timer to please tell me if we can.
Well, both the evaluators went on for 3 minutes and 10 seconds, so they qualified. Since Toastmaster Saeed wasn't aware, but just it's not only for him, for everyone present. When we evaluate a table topic, it is 30 seconds per participant. And as per our list, we could have closed it in 3 minutes, 30 seconds. However, you took 4 minutes, 40 seconds, so good start. Thank you. Back to you, General.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sagri. Yes, I think we know this rule that it is supposed to be 30 seconds per participant in table topics. There's a general rule of thumb which we follow, but never mind. I love that evaluation. Could you please launch the polls?
One more clarification, Mr. General Evaluator, because I was not aware that timing also, and we used to keep table topics evaluator in auxiliary role players voting. So what do you want me to add them in the evaluator voting?
Okay.
So just give me 1 second only. I will add table topics evaluator.
No. It's not required. Toastmaster Faisal, we will keep evaluators voting for the 2 speech evaluators only, and we will add you to the auxiliary role play. Okay?
Yes. All right.
Right. So please, let's go ahead with the speech evaluators voting.
On your screen.
All right. Can we go ahead? I guess we can go ahead while people keep voting, right? Okay.
Yes,
so now the next section is that we will have the tag team come in with their reports. And first of all, may I request the timer to give us her report on the meeting. Over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Like I shared my report, everyone was well within time, and the individual time slots have already been shared. Thank you so much. Back to you.
And are we maintaining time during the meeting?
Apologies, sorry? Yes, absolutely. We are. So we are well within time.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sagri, for that wonderful report and for keeping us abreast of the timings all throughout the meeting. Right, next we have our counter for today, Toastmaster Devon Srivasta. Toastmaster Devansh, the screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster PK. Hello, everyone. Before I begin with the report of the counter, I'll give you a little framework that I had in my mind for our counter report. Now, as per the research, one filler in a minute is a good thing. It's totally fine if you're using one filler a minute. If you are using more than 5 fillers in the speech in a minute, then that can act as a distracting. That will be distracting you to the listeners, right? So just keep this in mind and give you my report as per this. I'll start with Evaluator 1, Toastmaster Asil. Asil, you were pretty good in your speech. I just found there 2-3 repeated phrases as in, so like, I mean, just repeating the phrase, right? That's what I did right now. There was just few repeated phrases, but there were no filler words as such in your speech. Speaker number 1, Toastmaster Pooja, in your speech as well, there were no fillers I could find. There was just 4 repeated phrases. You repeated part of sentences here and there when you felt a little distracted or when you felt a lack of words. Toastmaster Mohit, as an evaluator number 2, in your speech, there were 5 ants in a minute, and there was few repeated phrases as well, 4 to 5. Now, to summarize the fillers, I will say you had 7 fillers in a minute in your speech. Toastmaster Reena, as a speaker, I would really like to commend the use of silence and pauses in your speech. They're not, I could not find fillers in your speeches. There was just 1 or 2 repeated phrases in your speech. Table topic master, Toastmaster Gayatri. I mean, if someone who's that bold, that confident, and speaking in that orderly fashion, it's really difficult to find filler words and pauses, right? Toastmaster, table topic speaker number 1, Toastmaster Anupam. You're not clear to me because of some audio or technical issues. There was just 1 or 2 I could find in the speech that I could hear. Sorry about that. Table topic speaker number 2, Toastmaster Mohit. There were few 4 to 5 repeated phrases in your table topic speech, such as what can it or what it can be, something like this. So I'll just recommend you to slow down your pace. That is it, because your just so just slow down your space, because your content was pretty much very clear and you have a logical thought process. So if only you can just slow down your pace, I'm pretty sure you will come out as an excellent speaker as well in the table of speeches. That is one of the difficult genres in Toastmasters. And table topic speaker number 3, Bismay, you had 4 likes, 4 ums and 2 ands in your speech. To summarize up this, you had 12 fillers in a minute that you used in your speech. Table topic speaker number 4, Tripti, you had 2 repeated phrases in your speech. There was no filler words I could found. Table topic speaker number 5, Asil, you had just 1 repeated phrases in your table topic speech. No fillers I could found. Table topic speaker number 6, Arnav, there were 6 R's, 2 ums, and 3 ands. So in all, I could say you had 8 filler words per minute in your speech. Table topic speaker number 7, Abhishek, you had 4 ums and 5 R's in the first speech that you were giving, right? And even in the second, there was 6 R's and 2 ums. So, and on an average, you had 12 fillers. Table topic evaluator, Toastmaster Syed, Faisal Zaidi. Toastmaster Syed, you had 2 repeated phrases, 5 R's and 2-3 ums. But I would really also want to say that major fillers I could find only in the initial part. Once you were set in the flow of the evaluation, there were very less fillers. So overall, on an average, you had 6 fillers in a minute. Now, just keep this in mind, and it's very important to for me to tell you, like, why does this happen? Why do we use fillers in our speeches, or why have we used that? Majorly is because we are nervous. We are not sure what we are going to speak or what we are speaking. We don't have the next set of words in our mind. Second is that we get distracted, just like when Mohit as an evaluator got distracted from his phone. So Mohit, you could just turn your phone on silence once you are giving your speech or giving your evaluation. If you are distracted, you might have a sense of lack of words, and you will tend to use fillers in your speech. And third part is lack of words. You are not sure which words to put in. There, we go ahead and use the fillers. Now, We have been conditioned since our childhood that silence is not very good. I would really like to say that silence is great. Please go ahead and use pauses as much as you can. Use silence when needed, and you'll come out as a great speaker. Now, before I leave, I'll just tell you an incident what happened before this meeting. I was on a drive just before this meeting, but I did not enjoy it. Why I did not enjoy it? Because you see, when I was driving, there was quite a lot of speed breakers on the road, and I really did not enjoy the drive. And that what happens when you use a lot of fillers in your speeches as well. Your fillers act as speed breakers, and it do not leave the audience to enjoy the speech, or it will not come as clear as it should be. So in order to enjoy the road of your communication, just try being mindful, practice, and take pauses and take use of silence as much as you can. Over to you, Toastmaster Peter.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Devansh. Big round of applause for the Division Director of Division T, the R counter for today. And thank you so much for the wonderful new perspective on this role of an R counter. Right, now next we have the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Pratyush. And may I request you to please come and tell us how we fared today as far as grammar is concerned.
Yes, Toastmaster Ray, I will try my best to do that. Good evening, Toastmasters, once again. So I will begin with the good usages of grammar and some interesting phrases that we saw in this meeting. Number one, manufacturing serendipity. I think that got everyone's ear. Equality is the soul of liberty. Blow it out of proportion. Prescriptive judgment. And the speakers won against the topic. Right. Some interesting words that we found in the meeting were oxymoron, proactive, egalitarianism, stereotypes, coveted, scrutiny, pivotal, plight. Those would be the words. Now coming to the not so good usages of grammar. Number one, the sentence was spoken out this way: she haven't completed her basic education. She hasn't completed her basic education. Next, it would be engaged in household works. So that would be just engaged in household work. And the last one was, this is something that does tend to get confusing: all freedom fighters who were hung. So this is something that people should know. Instead of, this is the only word before the only context in which we use hanged instead of hung. In other contexts, we use hung for the word hang as the past tense. And other than that, I think we had a pretty steady session with respect to the grammar and the way it was used. Back to you, Toastmaster Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pratyush. And as you would all have noticed, we didn't have any bones of contention today. The word was just not used.
Yes, apologies for that. No one ended up using the word of the day either.
Yeah, here and there, Devans just used it. And I think I used it in another form, contentious, just like Devans. But yes, the word was not used. Yeah, there's always a good thing, a good side to everything. So no bones of contention. Okay. Now the time for our active listener. Our active listener who's been threatening us that you listen carefully, because I'm going to ask you questions. So now's your chance, Toastmaster Tripti. Screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ray. Nonetheless, I guess it was a well glimpse in the world of history. We were, it forced us to think about a lot of things that we, the youngsters, are not really aware about such golden era of the history. Nonetheless, because I'm not the appropriate person, I'm not going to start another history class. But yes, I would take this segment for you to analyze and interpret, or probably introspect about certain words. So my first question of the day is, we talked about a lot of things in this meeting today, from serendipity to feminism to contention. And one of the most important aspects was freedom. So it's an open question to the audience of the day, that what does freedom mean to you? What does freedom is for you? I would gladly want volunteers to come up to answer the question. Else, I am more than happy to pick people whom I really want to hear. Okay. I guess the floor was opened by DTM Rohit. I guess I'll request DTM Rohit to throw some light on his aspect and perspective of freedom.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on another call. What was the question?
Okay. So the question was that in today's meeting, we talked about a lot of terms, from serendipity to feminism to contention. And one of the most important aspects was freedom. What is your perspective of freedom? What does freedom mean to you?
For me, freedom is having the choice to do what I want to do, not being concerned about judgments or insecurities or anything. Like me making decisions for myself is freedom.
Thank you so much. Toastmaster Faisal, would you like to add something to that?
Freedom for me is to give wings to my thoughts and do what I wanted to do. That is what freedom meant to me. And we are happy that we are living in a country like India where we have freedom of everything. We can follow our culture, our tradition, religion, language, festivals, anything. So we have freedom of following and believing what we believe and what we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This question popped up to me on the point when DTM Rohit was sharing about an aspect from Netaji's life, wherein he told about that when he had to disguise himself to travel overseas. That really made me question myself, that aren't we as individuals today undermining this wonderful word freedom? Just because we're living in a society wherein we have got the utmost freedom to express, to do whatever we want, to have the choice of careers, we often end up undermining it. Well, I would leave you with that thought and would move to the next question, and probably the last one. I would not want you to get bored in this segment. Okay, so Toastmaster Ray, I would really want your opinion on this question which I'm going to pose. That where do you think that with the advancement in technology and other aspects from the previous years, you have been on the forefront of the nation. How do you think the youngsters are undermining the culture and the rich history of the nation today? Because I, as a millennial, really felt bad today when we were being questioned about a lot of things and we were absolutely blank. I know a lot about United Nations, so I was really happy when I heard about it in my question. But I went blank that, damn, what would have happened then?
Right. So my first take on this is that it is incorrect to say that the youngsters are undermining the culture of the nation. I'm sorry, I just don't resonate with that. There is a difference in the generations. And since I belong to the older generation, let me tell you how I know my history. I know my history from reading, books, and especially books which are informative and which can give me knowledge instantly. And how do I know about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose? By reading Amar Chitra Katha. Okay. Those set of books actually gave you the gist of the nation's history over various serials. And it's so easy to finish. You just flip through it and you finish. Now, if there are certain things that you are interested in as you grow up, you will start reading. Nowadays, the generation is different. Nowadays, people have things available to them in an instant on their devices. Okay. And why not? It should be like that. That is what is advancement. Okay. So I am not going to say that anybody is undermining anything. We are just doing things differently. And maybe the youngsters now who probably cannot say what happened in 1919 and then which year did Netaji give up his membership of the Indian Civil Service, in which year did Bhagat Singh and Rajguru and Sukhdev, which year were they hanged, and which year was the Dandi March. And if we cannot do things, if we cannot recall instantly, that is what we are asking for. If we cannot recall instantly, maybe it is not so important. And maybe we need to actually imbibe the sense of the freedom which you were trying to ask in the last question, the sense of freedom and independence from our devices itself. Our devices should help us do that. Back to
I
you,
guess
Tripti.
wonderfully said. Thank you so much. And with this, I would like to end my session of the day. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Okay, you got us hopping on that one. All right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tripti. And I guess now it is my turn to give you my evaluation. So we'll start right at the very beginning, because as the song says, it's a very good place to start. The Sergeant at Arms, wonderful job done. I have nothing to say regarding your role and the way you executed it. Very well done. In fact, this is one of the best speeches by a Sergeant at Arms which I have heard. Grammatically correct, enthusiastic, vibrant, and setting the tone for the meeting. Thank you so much. Round of applause for the Sergeant at Arms, please. We usually miss out on this. Now the Toastmaster of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit, thank you very much for taking up this role, and thank you for the wonderful stories that you told us. Your role was done to perfection, and there is no doubt in my mind as to why it was done like that, because you are such a consummate speaker. Your flow of words is so easy. You don't appear to even think for the word. It just comes to you. And that is the hallmark of a great speaker, obviously a distinguished Toastmaster. It was a privilege listening to you today. Thank you so much once again. And a round of applause for him, please. Okay, now for the speech evaluator. A general point for all speech evaluators, please remember that you are performing. And when you are performing, there is a requirement. And the requirement is that you need to motivate your target speaker and educate the rest of the audience. But please remember that there is an audience out there, and therefore you should address the entire audience instead of just focusing on the speaker. And this is something which Toastmaster Asil did very well. She started off with ladies and gentlemen, and that way she immediately engaged the audience, because we need to be able to convey our points to everybody. If you start saying Toastmaster Puja, then what will happen is that others may not pay attention, and after some time you'll find that somebody's fiddling with his mobile, somebody's switching off his screen because he has to do something else, because the things are not addressed to that person. I agree with your entire evaluation of Toastmaster Puja. I have only one suggestion for Toastmaster Puja, and that is there were too many hand movements. There were just too many hand movements. You are moving your hand again and again and again, and that tends to be distracting at times. And unless you have me or your evaluator who are focusing on you and trying to see, okay, the other people who are generally there in the meeting will tend to get distracted. So just watch out for that. The other small tip I have for you, it's not really a recommendation, but just tip, is when you have 7 minutes, you actually have 7.5 minutes. Try and utilize it. You wound up it just a little, few seconds over 5 minutes. Okay, so you could have said a lot. 2 minutes at the back end of a speech is a lot of time. Right. Next thing is Toastmaster Mohit. I agree with everything that you said. That was a very good evaluation of Toastmaster Reena's speech. The general point for all evaluators, I am sure you have noted that. Toastmaster Reena, brilliant speech. I simply loved it. Just two recommendations for you. One is that when you gave the definition of feminism, that was borrowed, I think, from Shashi Tharoor. That verb, that wording was extremely convoluted, and I really, it took me 1 minute to even realize what you're saying. Okay, so maybe a little simpler language, especially when it comes to the definitions, because people have to follow what you're saying. And the other thing is, like Mohit has already pointed out, you had a rather abrupt ending to your speech. The back end of the speech cannot have such an abrupt ending. When you prepare your speech, you need to prepare the ending. In fact, what I do is I try and make that ending first so that I am very familiar with it. And the moment I realize that now it is going to turn into red, not after it has become red, but when I think that now red is coming, that is the time when I stop speaking and shoot off my summary. That conclusion has to come through. Right. Though Toastmaster Gayatri has had to leave the meeting, still, for her, I would like to say Shabash Jawan. That was awesome. The way in which she conducted that table topic session was fantastic. And yes, it was a lesson in history. It revealed to us our gaps in knowledge. And I would implore everybody, please take up your books and read, because there are nuggets of history which are so fascinating. I am sure that many of us have not read up about Subhash Chandra Bose before coming here. I like to ask a question to the audience. Can you tell me what is today's news on Subhash Chandra Bose? Something very current, which decision was taken yesterday regarding Subhash Chandra Bose. What is the most current piece of news on him?
The statue?
Yeah.
Holographic statue.
Right. So that statue is going to come up in place of the Amar Jawan Jyoti. That is the decision.
Not today's news, but that is not today's news. This is last 3-4 days. So for last 3-4 days, it's been floating.
Okay, I didn't know about it. I get my nuggets of information when I read the newspaper, and so that's it. Since I read it today, I said it must be yesterday's news. All right. Okay. As far as the table topics themselves are concerned, fabulous topics. The only bone of contention is that why call them enemies? They are not enemies. They are, shall we say, opponents at the best, not enemies, but otherwise fabulous topics. And the hallmark of fabulous topic is like when everybody, and I could see the reaction on the faces of people, and every time a topic came, everybody, including me, wanted to speak on it. And when that happens, you know that topics are very, very good. So that is what happened today. We learned some new names. Captain Lakshmi Sehgal. Captain Lakshmi Sehgal was the leader of the women's wing of the Indian National Army. She passed away a few years ago at the age of 82. And I am sure that many of us have not heard that name. We also had a speech by Tripti in the United Nations in 1947. Though it was all good fun, but I think that is historically incorrect. Of having a ambassador from India in 1947 in the United Nations General Assembly, I think is historically incorrect, but never mind. It was a good topic. Right. I love the way Asil handled this. The moment a topic came up on the Indian Constitution to Asil, I was wondering what Asil is going to do, but she's very smartly sidestepped the issue and spoke about something in general, which was marvelous. Thank you so much, Asil. 1930s advisor to Netaji, whether to decide to stay in the Congress or otherwise, I would have spoken and given him some advice to get out and form the forward block, which he eventually did. But yes, that was a very, very good topic. And Abhishek, a speech condemning the hanging of Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru. I wish I could have made that speech. But yes, I kept wishing the same about all the table topics. And I must tell you, the table topics were fantastic. So it's just a very easy thing to say that we have had a great session today. I would also like to comment on the timers control panel. That's the first time I have seen that control panel. I have of course seen that thing which looks like a traffic signal giving you green, amber, and red, but I've never seen a control panel along with it. So yes, definitely. I would like to borrow that from Sagri too. Right. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It was a very entertaining session. Like we said in the beginning, we have a lot to learn from each other. The idea of having a session is, joint session is to learn from each other's clubs, from our different cultures, from our different ways of doing things, from our different styles of speaking, from our different ways of assessment of each other. And I think today has been a huge success as far as that is concerned. Thank you very much for the joint session, and I hope to attend a joint session very soon with you. Thank you, and back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster PK, for that insightful evaluation. It was so detailed and we could learn so many things from you and your experience and just the way you shared pearls of wisdom with us. Now it's time for us, ladies and gentlemen, for the closing remarks. But before that, I would request the Tech Master to launch the polls for the best role player and the best auxiliary role player.
On your screen. We have 71% vote. May I request everyone to please vote?
I'm not voting because I could not hear all of them. So that is why I'm not voting.
All right. We can proceed with the others. We have the majority now. I'm going to launch most favorite role player on your screen. 78% votes. All right, we have the majority. We can proceed.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Syed Faisal. Now I would like to hand it over to the Vice President Education of Young Professional Toastmasters Club and a very dear friend of mine, Toastmaster Pratyush, to take over the proceedings from here.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rohit. Well, we just witnessed a gathering of the brightest and the most able speakers and members from two brilliant clubs, NVezion Toastmaster Club and Young Professional Toastmaster Club. I want to thank distinguished Toastmaster Rohit for being a thorough guide through this beautiful topic about Netaji and enlightening us with his tales of bravery, which is also embellished by Toastmaster Ray's favorite story about Netaji's adventure in Germany. Now, I think we all can agree that all the role players played their roles judiciously as the general evaluator himself evaluated, and we had an overall wonderful and a very inspiring session. Now, the moment we all wait for at the end, which is the time for awards. And let me just tell you this one thing, that beyond the conventional awards, we do have a few other awards that you wouldn't be anticipating. So for this, I would like to ask Toastmaster Sagri to please share her screen as we roll out the awards.
I have also sent you the order in which it's announced, so you can just check your awards.
All right. Toastmaster Rohit, have you sent it to me on WhatsApp?
Let me know
yes,
when to begin.
Toastmaster Rohit?
Yeah, you can proceed. I have sent it.
Am I audible? Right, all right. So, number one, we're going to go with the best speaker. And that goes to Toastmaster Reena. Can we have a huge round of applause? Right. Next, we have the best table topic speaker, Tripti Gandhi. The best evaluator, speech evaluator, of course, Toastmaster Mohit. The best role player, that would go to Toastmaster Ray. Then we have the best auxiliary role player, that would be Toastmaster Devon. Then we have three awards which you wouldn't expect in a general meeting, but we decided to go ahead with this anyway. Then this next award would be the early bird, which is which would be given to the Toastmaster who arrived to the meeting the earliest, besides the role players, of course, and that would go to Toastmaster Veena. So that would be the early bird award. Next, we have the grammar boss, and this would be going to the person who used the most who had the most amazing use of grammar. That would be Toastmaster Gayatri. Then we have the multitasker who ended up managing the most a lot of issues at the same time and was triumphant in it. That would be Toastmaster Sid. And last, the award for funny bone, because
Toastmaster
everyone.
Pratyush, if I may interrupt, that had a little alteration.
Yeah,
so
please.
I'm not sure if you had the correct thing. So I'm going to flash and you can just say the name. The last certificate is
Right,
for...
Right, alright. So the last certificate is for funny bone, and that would be Toastmaster Rohit, because whenever he spoke, I saw that people just had smiles splashed all over their faces. And that would be the end of our award ceremony. And with that, I would like to conclude the meeting and just hope that we all meet again for another joint meeting and celebrate the diversity and the brilliance in both of our clubs once again. That would be all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Toastmaster Fazil, do I have the request to announce something?
Yes, please
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
I have the permission, I mean.
Yes, please go ahead.
Or you can announce.
No, you announce by yourself.
You announce.
Okay, so I'm here to invite you at NVezion, and I know because there are people like Rohit is from Bilingual Club, and there are other people I see. I don't know which clubs you all are from, because NVezion is always amalgamation of many clubs. So that's bone of content always. Whenever you come, you will learn a lot in one meeting. So I use the word of the day finally, Pikire. One thing which I wanted to share a lot, that last time when I went to Calcutta, because I made it a point that I visit to Subhash Chandra place house. Whenever you go, just go there. You feel like that you are visiting the history again. And another place, I'm not able to get the name. I was trying to see in my pictures, but I could not. When I had last year visited Duars, why I'm telling the people who are travelers, that's a place you go, and I have forgotten. I had gone from Jaldapara to that place. It's almost 2-3 hours drive, and you have to walk. You have to walk to that place for because that time road was not proper, and it's crosses from a very small village which you cannot, the car cannot go there. So there the Britishers have kept him for 3 months. And when I went there, it's dilapidated totally. There were 3 rooms, and I went there. I clicked the pictures, and that person who had gone with me was saying, ma'am, it hats off to you. Nobody has this means, and I was all alone because I was on a solo trip. That why I'm telling, because if you are a traveler, you should go, and then you realize how much they actually Britishers feared Subhash Chandra Bose, that they kept him in those times. Today, when it was so difficult for me to reach there, that they kept him at such a place where nobody could even imagine, could even think that he would have been kept there, which must have taken, it must have taken that time at least 3 to 4 days to reach to that place from Calcutta. So think of the fear he has imbibed in Britishers, what he must have been capable of. So that's actually, this person is very close to my heart, and thank you. This today taking this theme, Rohit, I was actually very much happy. So I could speak about Captain Lakshmi at least. I could be part of it some way. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And sorry, मेरा announcement रह गया out of emotion कि लघु नाटिका जो है अवध की 30th January को है. Rohit, I've already told you and others. 30th January we are going to have a competition, and it's going to be in Hindi. But all the English clubs can be part of it. मैं जो भी इंटरेस्टेड है, अगर फैजल, बिकॉज फैजल इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ दैट, तो अगर आप लोगों को किसी को भी इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, प्लीज मुझसे पूछ लीजिए. एनी इंग्लिश क्लब कैन पार्टिसिपेट इन इट, एंड वी वुड लव, बिकॉज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग एट हिंदी क्लब्स, कि जितना हमें इंग्लिश प्यारी होती चली जा रही है, पेट्रियोटिज्म डज नॉट लिव इन दी हार्ट्स. द ओनली थिंग इज दैट इट हैज टू शो इन एक्शन. सो अगर आप हिंदी से प्रेम करते हो, अगर आप अपनी नेशनल लैंग्वेजेस से प्रेम करते हो, तो स्टे कनेक्टेड टू इट इन वट एवर वे यू कैन. So try to be part of it, and it will be fun because it's going to be a humorous skit. So even though I get always emotional talking about these things, but still, that's me. I'm sorry, but that's me. And I always believe that we really do not understand the cost of freedom they had to pay at that time. And when you go, you visit those places, then only you can realize what actually they've done for us. So we should value, and we should be responsible citizens of this country. Thank you. It was not a speech, please, but being old school, being teacher, that comes from within. Because जहाँ मुझे ये लगता है कि यार इतना सा भी नहीं पता, I feel like यार क्या कराया तुम लोगों के teachers ने. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster.
So you all are invited in our
Toastmaster Faisal, if we can stop the live.